Being a man is not easy today. Many men feel lost. Many men feel empty. Many men feel alone. But here is the truth. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not done. You just need guidance. You need purpose. You need a path. This book shows that path. So listen closely. This may be the lesson that changes your life. Welcome to Bookverse. This is the place where we break down the best self-help books. We take big ideas and turn them into clear lessons. Lessons you can use in your daily life. If you want to grow, if you want to change, if you want a better life, then you are in the right place. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us till the end. Now let's begin. We are going to cover this book chapter by chapter. Chapter 1. What it means to be a man today. Being a man today is hard. That is the truth. You feel pressure. You feel weight. You feel the silent expectations that you never agreed to. No one explains the rules. No one gives a guide. You are told to be strong. You are told to be calm. You are told to lead. You are told to carry everything without making a sound. And the world says this is normal. The world says this is your job. The world says this is what a man must do. But today, everything feels different. The rules changed. The structure changed. The world changed. And no one told you how to adjust. You feel lost. You feel confused. You feel tired. And you feel like you are not allowed to say it. Because the moment you speak, the world calls it weakness. That is the lie. That is the trap. That is the pressure men carry. You have a choice. You always had a choice. To stay silent, or to face the truth inside you. The old rules are still there. Even if no one talks about them. Rules like, be strong. Do not cry. Work harder. Provide everything. Fix every problem. Never fail. These rules live inside you. You learned them young. You learned them before you were ready. You learned them even when no one said them out loud. And now, as a grown man, you feel the weight of these rules on your back. Single. That is the modern pressure. That is the silent burden. But here is the truth. Here is the part people do not say. Being a man today is not about being perfect. It is not about being emotionless. It is not about hiding your pain. It is not about walking like a machine. It is about responsibility. It is about discipline. It is about standards. It is about strength that comes from inside, not from fear. You have been taught to look strong on the outside. But no one showed you how to be strong on the inside. That is the real problem. That is the real gap. Because a man who looks strong on the outside, but is weak on the inside, breaks fast. And he breaks quietly. And no one ever notices until it is too late. You have a choice. You can follow the old lies. Or you can build new strength. Most men today are tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of performing. Tired of hiding their fears. Tired of comparing themselves to other men. You see other men, and you think they have their life figured out. You think they are ahead. You think they are confident. You think they are strong. But most of them are struggling too. They are just better at hiding it. That is the silent pressure. That is the hidden truth. You compare your real life to their highlight reel. You compare your weakness to their strength. You compare your fear to their confidence. You compare your confusion to their control. That comparison destroys you. That comparison breaks you. That comparison steals your identity. And that comparison makes you feel like you are not enough. But here is the reality. A real man does not compare. A real man builds. A real man grows. A real man improves. A real man takes responsibility for the man he becomes. You have a choice. You can complain, or you can build. You can blame, or you can grow. You can stay the same, or you can rise. That is the key. Modern manhood is not about image. It is about identity. It is about purpose. It is about discipline. It is not about ego. It is about direction. It is about clarity. It is about daily action. Today, many men feel lost, not because they are weak, but because they do not have direction. A man without clarity feels pressure in every part of life. He wakes up heavy. He walks through the day confused. He sleeps with fear, because when you do not know who you are, everything becomes noise. Everything becomes loud. Everything becomes stress. You need clarity. You need identity. You need purpose. That is the foundation. That is the anchor. That is the structure. You are not meant to live on guesswork. You are not meant to live without direction. You are not meant to live without discipline. Because when a man has no direction, he becomes reactive. He moves fast, but he moves wrong. He works hard, but he works blind. That is why many men feel tired, not because they work too much, but because they work with no purpose, no north, no aim, no meaning. The world tells men to be strong, but the world does not tell men how to build strength. Not emotional strength, not mental clarity, not inner discipline. You were told to carry everything, but no one taught you how to lift it. You were told to be a leader, but no one taught you how to lead yourself. You were told to show confidence, but no one taught you how to build confidence. That is why so many men crumble inside. They are expected to carry standards that they were never trained for. You have a choice. You can stay untrained, or you can step into real growth. Real manhood today requires courage. Courage to see your flaws. Courage to face your weakness. Courage to admit your fear. Courage to rebuild yourself. It is not about hiding. It is about honesty. It is not about perfection. It is about discipline. It is not about ego. It is about responsibility. You do not need their permission. You do not need their approval. You do not need their validation. Because real manhood starts inside you, not around you. You are responsible for the man you become. You are responsible for the choices you make. You are responsible for the standards you set. So ask yourself, what kind of man are you today? What kind of man do you want to become? And what kind of man are you willing to build? The truth is simple. A man becomes who he trains himself to be, not who he wishes to be, not who he pretends to be, not who he acts like on the outside. It is about discipline. It is about practice. It is about daily action. It is about constant growth. That is the key. The world will judge you anyway. So be a man you respect. Be a man you trust. Be a man you believe in. A man with standards. A man with discipline. A man with clarity. A man with direction. This is what it means to be a man today. Not perfect. Not invincible. But responsible. Disciplined. Focused. Driven. Anchored. You have a choice. You can keep running from yourself. Or you can face yourself. You can keep hiding from your weakness. Or you can build strength that lasts. You can keep living by old rules. Or you can build your own. Manhood is not about pressure. Manhood is about purpose. And this is only the beginning. Because you cannot build discipline if you do not understand your core identity first. You mastered the truth of modern pressure. Now let us go deeper. Let us talk about the weight men carry in silence. Chapter 2. The weight men carry inside. Men carry weight. Most people do not see it. Most people do not notice. They think men are strong by default. They think men do not feel. They think men do not break. But the truth is brutal. Men feel everything. Men think everything. Men carry pain like armor. They carry fear like chains. They carry confusion like a shadow. And here is the problem. Most men hide it. They hide it behind a smile. They hide it behind a joke. They hide it behind work. They hide it behind anger. Silence becomes a second skin. A mask. A protection. A prison. Because society says, a man cannot show weakness. A man cannot complain. A man cannot cry. A man must endure. So men endure in silence. They endure in secret. They endure alone. And this silence does not help. It does not protect. It does not solve anything. It destroys from inside. It grows. It feeds. It becomes heavy. You have a choice. You always have a choice. To keep hiding, or to face the weight. The hidden pain. Pain comes in many forms. Childhood wounds. Family expectations. Broken relationships. Missed opportunities. Failures no one talks about. Most men carry it without speaking. They think admitting it is weakness. It is not. It is courage. Pain teaches lessons. Pain builds strength. Pain can guide you. But only if you face it. Only if you do not bury it. Only if you do not let it rot in silence. Fear is another weight. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of not being enough. And fear is loud, even when silence is quiet. Fear whispers, "You are not ready. You are not capable. Someone else is better." Most men listen to it. Most men obey it. And that is why dreams die. That is why potential is wasted. You have a choice. You can obey fear. Or you can challenge it. You can silence it. You can step into action. Confusion adds weight too. Confusion about purpose. Confusion about identity. Confusion about expectations. It clouds judgment. It delays decisions. It paralyzes action. And men hide this confusion. They pretend to know. They pretend to lead. They pretend to be in control. But inside they feel lost. Alone. Exposed. Vulnerable. You do not need their approval. You do not need to look perfect. You do not need to pretend. You need clarity. You need discipline. You need courage. Why silence becomes a habit? Silence feels safe. At first, it protects you from judgment. It protects you from shame. It protects you from rejection. But over time, it becomes a cage. It isolates. It builds weight. It grows heavier with every unspoken word. Every secret you carry, every fear you hide, every pain you ignore, adds to the burden. And that burden affects everything. Your mind, your body, your relationships, your work, your purpose. You feel exhausted, not from work, not from action, but from carrying silence. The lie men believe. Men believe they must endure alone. They believe sharing is weakness. They believe asking for help is failure. This is a lie. A dangerous lie. It steals years from life. It steals strength from growth. It steals identity from purpose. You have a choice. You can accept this lie. Or you can reject it. You can speak truth to yourself. You can face the weight. You can build real strength. The power of expression. Expression is not weakness. Expression is strategy. Expression is liberation. When you speak truth to yourself, you release chains. You regain control. You see clearly. You move faster. You act with purpose. Write it down. Talk to a mentor. Speak to a friend you trust. Even speak to God. Do not hold it in. Every word spoken lightens the load. Every truth admitted builds courage. Every fear named loses power. You have a choice. You can stay silent, or you can speak. Understanding the weight. Men carry weight from society. Men carry weight from family. Men carry weight from expectations. Men carry weight from failure. Men carry weight from doubt. Most of it is invisible. Most of it is ignored. Most of it is misunderstood. But it is real. And it is heavy. You must recognize it. You must name it. You must face it. Because only then can you release it. Only then can you build true strength. Facing fear daily. Fear is part of manhood. Fear is unavoidable. But fear is conquerable. Every day, face one fear. Even a small one. Even a quiet one. Every victory builds confidence. Every challenge strengthens your identity. Every step forward reduces the weight. You have a choice. Obey fear. Or master it. That is the key. The discipline of mind. Discipline is the tool. Discipline trains the mind. Discipline strengthens the will. Discipline builds resilience. Start small. Wake up on time. Exercise your body. Exercise your mind. Learn. Plan. Discipline is silent work, but its results are loud. Weight carried inside shrinks when discipline grows. That is transformation. Breaking the cycle. Many men repeat the same patterns. Carry the same weight. Hide the same pain. This is a cycle. Passed from father to son. From mentor to apprentice. From culture to individual. Breaking it requires courage. Breaking it requires honesty. Breaking it requires action. You have a choice. You can continue the cycle. Or you can start a new one. For yourself. For the men who look up to you. For the world that needs real men. Building strength from inside. Real strength starts inward. Not with muscles. Not with money. Not with status. It starts with courage. It starts with clarity. It starts with discipline. Face the pain. Face the fear. Face the confusion. Transform it into power. Transform it into action. Transform it into identity. You are not a victim. You are not a weak man. You are a man with potential. You are a man with choice. You are a man with power inside. Your action steps. Every day, confront your weight. Speak one truth aloud. Write one fear down. Take one action against doubt. Do not run. Do not hide. Do not pretend. Train your mind. Train your heart. Train your courage. Train your discipline. Every day is a brick. Build your wall. Brick by brick. Moment by moment. You have a choice. You can keep carrying silently. Or you can lift the burden. Step by step. Word by word. Action by action. The modern man is awake. Men awake today. Men face their fears. Men confront their weight. Men reclaim their identity. Men live with purpose. This is what it means. To be a real man. Not perfect. Not always strong. Not always confident. But disciplined. Courageous. Responsible. You mastered the silent weight. You faced fear, pain, and confusion. You named it. You spoke it. You acted on it. Now let us go deeper. Next, we will talk about the rules men live by. The rules no one tells you. Chapter 3. The Mask of Strength. Strength. Every man wants it. Every man needs it. But most men do not understand it. Because most men walk through life wearing a mask. A mask of strength. A mask that looks solid. A mask that looks brave. A mask that looks powerful. But inside, that same man feels tired, confused and scared. This is the truth. And you know it, because you have lived it. You have worn that mask too. Every man has. And that is the first lesson. You are not weak because you feel weak. You are weak only when you lie about it. You have been trained to hide. You have been trained to stay quiet. You have been trained to act strong. Every day, every moment, every situation. You learned the mask before you learned your own name. But the mask has a cost. And that cost is heavy. Very heavy. The mask steals your honesty. The mask steals your clarity. The mask steals your peace. And one day, the mask steals your identity. That is the real danger. Not failure. Not fear. Not pressure. The danger is simple. You forget who you really are. You forget what you really need. You forget what you really feel. Because you are busy acting strong. The world trains men to pretend. You learned early. Boys do not cry. Boys do not break. Boys do not show fear. Boys do not ask for help. That was the script. That was the rule. So you followed it. But now you are a man. And those old rules are killing you. Killing you. Slowly. Silently. Every day. Because the world pushes a simple message. Act strong or be judged. Act strong or be ignored. Act strong or be rejected. So you act. You smile when you feel pressure. You laugh when you feel fear. You say, I am fine, when your world feels heavy. You say, I can handle it, when you are one step away from breaking down. You hide. You pretend. You protect the mask. Because you learned that weakness is dangerous. You learned that showing weakness brings shame. You learned that showing weakness gets used against you. So you locked everything inside. And you thought this was strength. But it was not strength. It was survival. And survival is not the same as strength. Survival keeps you alive. Strength moves you forward. Survival hides your pain. Strength transforms your pain. Survival is reaction. Strength is discipline. That is the key. Strength is discipline, not pretending. Pretending has a price. Every man who wears the mask pays a price. You pay with your energy. Because pretending drains you. Every fake smile drains you. Every fake, I am okay, drains you. Every time you hide fear, your mind loses power. Every time you hide confusion, your body loses calm. You pay with your relationships. People see the mask, not you. People hear the strong voice, not your truth. People feel the distance, not your heart. You want connection. But connection requires honesty. And honesty does not live behind a mask. You pay with your confidence. Because when you lie about your fear grows. When you hide your weakness grows. When you avoid your confusion grows. This is the rule. Whatever you hide controls you. Whatever you avoid grows stronger. Whatever you pretend becomes your prison. And most men are living in that prison. They wake up with pressure. They walk with pressure. They sleep with pressure. Because the mask never comes off. Not for a minute. Not for a second. And then they wonder why they feel lost. They wonder why they feel angry. They wonder why life feels heavy. It is simple. You cannot breathe when you are always acting. Strength without honesty is fake strength. A man can lift weights. A man can fight. A man can work hard. But if he cannot face himself, he is not strong. True strength begins with truth. Truth about your fear. Truth about your pain. truth about your mistakes, truth about your confusion. Because truth gives you control. Truth gives you direction. Truth gives you clarity. You have a choice. You can continue pretending, or you can start owning your reality. This is your decision. No one can make it for you. No one will save you. No one will come and remove the mask. You have to do it. You have to decide. You must say the words. This is where I am. This is what I feel. This is what I must face. That moment is the birth of strength. Not a gym. Not a fight. Not a shout. Not a victory. The moment you face yourself is the moment you become a man with direction. That is the key. Direction matters more than pride. Why men fear removing the mask? Men fear exposure. Men fear rejection. Men fear being seen as weak. Men fear judgment. Men fear failure. And behind every one of these fears is a simple belief. If people see the real me, they will not respect me. This belief destroys more men than poverty, heartbreak, or failure. Because this belief keeps you trapped. It keeps you lying. It keeps you acting. It keeps you performing. But here is the truth. People do not respect the mask. People respect the man behind the mask. People respect discipline. People respect honesty. People respect growth. People respect responsibility. You do not need their permission. You do not need their approval. You do not need their praise. Strength is not about admiration. Strength is about self-respect. Strength is about self-control. Strength is about self-honesty. That is the real currency of manhood. Not likes. Not validation. Not applause. Not image. Pretending blocks growth. A man cannot improve what he will not face. A man cannot fix what he will not admit. A man cannot change what he will not acknowledge. If you lie about your fear, you stay afraid. If you lie about your pain, you stay hurt. If you lie about your direction, you stay lost. It is not weakness to face yourself. It is discipline. And discipline is strength. Strength is discipline, not pretending. You have a choice right now. Stay the same. Or grow. Hide. Or rise. Pretend. Or transform. This is your choice. Not society's choice. Not your family's choice. Not your friend's choice. You decide the man you become. And that decision begins with honesty. The moment a man learns to tell the truth, there comes a moment in every man's life. A moment when the mask becomes heavy. A moment when the silence becomes loud. A moment when the pretending becomes painful. That moment is the turning point. Some men avoid it. They run. They distract. They numb themselves. They hide deeper. They add more layers to the mask. But a few men do something else. They stop. They breathe. They speak. They tell the truth. They say, I am tired. I am confused. I am scared. I need direction. I need discipline. I need clarity. And when a man says these words, he does not become weak. He becomes real. He becomes awake. He becomes focused. Because truth is not weakness. Truth is strength. Truth is control. Truth is power. That is the key. Honesty is the foundation of self-control. Removing the mask requires discipline. If you want real strength, you must train honesty like a muscle. Daily. Not once. Not sometimes. Daily. You must ask yourself simple questions. Hard questions. Direct questions. What am I avoiding? What am I hiding? What am I scared of? What am I pretending? What do I need to fix? What do I need to face? Most men never ask these questions. Most men fear these questions. Most men escape these questions. But those men stay stuck. Those men stay lost. Those men stay masked. Your life changes when you face your truth without fear. Your life changes when you choose discipline over image. Your life changes when you choose growth over comfort. That is the path. That is the work. That is the difference. Real strength is quiet. Real strength does not shout. Real strength does not brag. Real strength does not show off. Real strength does not demand attention. Real strength is quiet. Real strength is calm. Real strength is controlled. Real strength is disciplined. The loudest men are usually the weakest. The toughest talkers are usually the most fragile. The most aggressive men are usually the most scared. Real strength comes from inside. Real strength comes from clarity. Real strength comes from truth. You build real strength by doing the hard work inside you, not outside you. You build real strength by removing the mask, by facing the pain, by owning your fear, by correcting your mistakes, by controlling your impulses. That is the real work. That is the real power. The mask keeps you small. Honesty makes you big. Asterisk, asterisk. A man with a mask lives small. He lives cautious. He lives scared. He lives silent. He lives trapped. A man with honesty lives big. He lives aware. He lives disciplined. He lives focused. He lives free. You have a choice. Stay small with the mask, or rise tall with the truth. It is not about fear. It is about discipline. It is not about weakness. It is about clarity. It is not about shame. It is about ownership. This is your moment. This is your decision. This is your responsibility. You have been taught to act strong. But acting strong is not real strength. Real strength is built. Real strength is earned. Real strength is trained. Real strength is chosen. You have a choice. Keep pretending, or start becoming. You do not need their permission. You do not need their approval. You do not need their praise. You need your truth. You need your discipline. You need your focus. The mask protected you in the past. But now, the mask is blocking your future. It is time to step forward. It is time to grow up. It is time to rise. Because Chapter 4 will take you deeper. Chapter 4 reveals the real battle inside every man. A battle that decides your future. Chapter 4. Fighting your own mind. Every man fights a war. But the war is not outside. The war is inside. Inside your head. Inside your thoughts. Inside the voice that never stops talking. You wake up with it. You walk with it. You work with it. You sleep with it. Your mind follows you everywhere. Your mind speaks to you every second. Your mind never rests. And sometimes, your mind turns against you. Sometimes, your mind becomes your enemy. Sometimes, your mind becomes the loudest threat in your life. This is the battle most men never talk about. This is the battle men try to hide. This is the battle that destroys men in silence. Anxiety, self-doubt, overthinking, fear, pressure, shame, regret. These things live inside your mind. These things fight you every day. These things want to control you. These things want to break you. That is the truth. And it is time you face it. Because your mind can be your biggest weapon. But your mind can also be your biggest weakness. You have a choice. And that is the key. You need to train your mind, or your mind will control your entire life. The battle you never admit. Men confess pain in their body. Men confess problems at work. Men confess stress about money. But men rarely confess the real problem. A noisy mind. A scared mind. A confused mind. Because men are trained to stay silent. Men are trained to endure. Men are trained to act like they have control, even when they feel lost inside their own head. But here is the truth you already know. Your mind is not silent. Your mind is not calm. Your mind is not easy to manage. Your mind throws fear at you. Your mind throws doubt at you. Your mind throws dark thoughts at you. Your mind keeps repeating old memories, old mistakes, old failures, old pain. Your mind becomes a loop. You think the same thoughts again, and again, and again, until your mind feels heavy, until your body feels tired, until your soul feels weak. This is the inner fight. This is the daily war. This is the mental battlefield every man walks through. And this is where real strength is built. Not in the gym, not in the world, but inside your head. The monster called overthinking. Overthinking is poison. It kills your peace. It kills your confidence. It kills your courage. It kills your ability to act. Overthinking makes simple things heavy. Overthinking makes small problems huge. Overthinking makes your fear louder. Overthinking makes your future darker. And overthinking does one more thing. Keeps you still. Completely still. You do not move. You do not start. You do not try. You freeze. You hesitate. You delay. You avoid. But because your mind creates 1,000 outcomes, 1,000 dangers, 1,000 mistakes, 1,000 reasons to stop. But the truth is simple. You do not need 1,000 answers. You need one decision. You need one action. You need one direction. That is the key. Overthinking destroys action, and action destroys overthinking. You choose which one wins. The voice that doubts you. Every man has a voice inside his head. A voice that says you are not enough. A voice that says you will fail. A voice that says you will mess up. A voice that says you are behind. A voice that says you are weak. A voice that says you are broken. This voice can be brutal. This voice can be sharp. This voice can attack you when you least expect it. In the morning, at night, during work, during silence, during stress. And the voice does not care about truth. The voice only cares about fear. The voice only cares about chaos. The voice only cares about control. This is the part most men never understand. Your mind creates fear, even when fear is not real. Your mind creates problems, even when you are safe. Your mind creates danger, even when nothing is wrong. But because the mind loves patterns, and your old patterns were shaped by survival. Your old patterns were shaped by pain. Your old patterns were shaped by rules you never chose. But today is different. Today you are not a boy. Today you are not helpless. Today you are not stuck in the past. Today you have a choice. You can let the voice control you, or you can face the voice. Challenge the voice. Override the voice. You have more power than you think. Anxiety, the invisible weight. Anxiety is not a loud monster. Anxiety is quiet, silent, slow, and steady. Anxiety sits in your chest. Anxiety sits in your stomach. Anxiety sits in your breathing. Anxiety sits in your thoughts. Anxiety sits in your decisions. And anxiety tells you lies. Lies that feel real. Lies that feel sharp. Lies that feel heavy. What if you fail? What if they judge you? What if things go wrong? What if you mess everything up? These questions drain your energy. These questions drain your focus. These questions drain your time. These questions steal your peace. You must understand this. Anxiety is not truth. Anxiety is fear without evidence. Fear can protect you. Anxiety weakens you. Fear can save your life. Anxiety steals your life. You must learn the difference. You must train the difference. You must master the difference. That is the key. Master your thoughts, and you master your life. Your mind is loud because you never trained it. Most men train their body. Most men train their skills. Most men train their work. But almost no man trains his mind. And then men wonder why their mind is chaotic. Why their mind is loud. Why their mind is stressed. Why their mind feels out of control. A mind without training becomes wild. A mind without discipline becomes dangerous. A mind without structure becomes chaotic. You cannot leave your mind alone. You cannot let your thoughts run free. You cannot let your fears grow without control. You must train your mind daily, just like you train your body, just like you train your strength, just like you train your discipline. This is the secret. This is the truth most men never hear. Strong men are not born with strong minds. Strong men build strong minds. How to fight your own mind. You fight your mind with rules. You fight your mind with structure. You fight your mind with discipline. Here are the rules every man must use. Rule 1. Speak truth to the fear. Say the fear out loud. Face it. Stop hiding from it. Stop running from it. Fear loses power when you expose it. Rule 2. Reduce the noise. Too much information destroys focus. Too much distraction destroys clarity. Simplify your world. Focus your world. Control your world. Rule 3. Stop asking what if. Ask what now. What if keeps you stuck? What now moves you forward? Rule 4. Do the small actions fast. Action shuts down anxiety. Action shuts down doubt. Action shuts down overthinking. Rule 5. Build proof for your mind. Your mind believes what you show it. Show discipline. Show effort. Show progress. Your mind will follow. That is the key. Your mind obeys your actions, not your intentions. You are not broken. You are overwhelmed. Asterisk asterisk. This is important. Your mind is not the enemy. Your mind is overwhelmed. Your mind is tired. Your mind is untrained. You do not need to destroy your mind. You need to lead your mind. Control your mind. Guide your mind. Your mind is powerful, but only with direction. Your mind is dangerous, but only when you leave it alone. You must take responsibility for your thoughts. You must take responsibility for your emotional direction. You must take responsibility for your inner world. You are the leader here. You are the commander here. You are the driver here. Your mind is strong, but you are stronger. Your mind is loud, but you control the volume. Your mind is fast, but you choose the direction. You have a choice. Again and again. You choose which thoughts grow. You choose which thoughts die. You choose which habits stay. You choose which habits end. This is not easy, but this is your path. This is your responsibility. This is your transformation. The only way out is through. You will not escape your mind by running. You will not escape your mind by hiding. You will not escape your mind by distraction. There is only one way. Face the thoughts. Face the fear. Face the doubt. Face the noise. And then you do something even more powerful. You respond with discipline. Not emotion. Not panic. Not avoidance. You breathe. You think. You stand still. You speak truth. You take action. That is the formula. That is the path. That is the transformation. A man becomes unstoppable when his mind no longer controls him. A man becomes powerful when his thoughts no longer scare him. A man becomes focused when his emotions no longer lead him. This chapter is your wake-up call. This chapter is your reminder. This chapter is your turning point. Final message of this chapter. You have lived many years fighting your own mind. In silence, in shame, in confusion, in fear. But that time is over. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the master of your thoughts. You are the leader of your inner world. You are the one in control. You have a choice. You can let your mind attack you, or you can train your mind to fight for you. This is discipline. This is strength. This is manhood. Now you understand the inner war. And now it is time to understand the enemy behind the war. Chapter 5. The Search for Identity. For you. That is the real question. Not who they say you are. Not who your family expects. Not who your friends assume. Not who society labels. Who are you when everything is silent? Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when there is no mask, no filter, no performance? This chapter is about that search. The search for yourself. The search for your real identity. The search that every man must make. Because without identity, you walk blind. Without identity, you live lost. Without identity, your life feels heavy, confusing, and hollow. You have a choice. Stay lost in old labels, or build a life that finally feels like your own. That is the key. The world gave you a name before you ever learned to speak. Before you took your first step, someone decided who you were. Someone told you what you should become. Someone handed you a label, a title, a box. You were called the quiet one, or the weak one, or the lazy one, or the emotional one, or the angry one, or the lost one, or the funny one, or the stupid one, or the useless one. You carried those words. You carried them without choice. You carried them without power. You carried them because you were a child, and children believe what they hear. But here is the truth. Those labels were lies. Those labels were guesses. Those labels were projections. Those labels were the fears of other people, thrown on your back, like weight that was never yours. You have a choice. Keep repeating their old story, or write your own story now. That is the key. Most men never question their old identity. They grow up. They get older. They get jobs. They get responsibilities. But inside, they stay the same scared boy, still trapped in old labels, still acting out old roles. They say, "This is just who I am." But that is not true. That is not identity. That is conditioning. That is programming. That is fear hiding behind a comfortable mask. You have a choice. Stay conditioned or become conscious. That is the key. Identity is not what you inherited. Identity is what you decide. Identity is not DNA. Identity is not tradition. Identity is not history. Identity is not opinion. Identity is not the past. Identity is not pain. Identity is choice. Identity is action. Identity is repetition. Identity is discipline. Identity is built, brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision, day by day. Identity is not what you feel. Identity is what you do. Because action builds truth, and truth builds self. You have a choice. Live by fear, or live by discipline. It is not about your past. It is about your discipline. That is the key. You must destroy the identity that was forced on you. You cannot build a new life while you protect the old labels. You cannot create a new self while you defend the old story. If you want growth, something must break. Something must fall apart. Something must die. Your old identity must die. Your old beliefs must die. Your old excuses must die. Your old weakness must die. You must bury the man who never fought back. You must bury the man who lived scared. You must bury the man who made himself small, just to keep others comfortable. You have a choice. Let the old self control you, or step forward as the new self. That is the key. Identity forms when you choose the hard path. Your identity is created in hard moments. Not easy moments. Not soft moments. Not comfortable moments. Identity forms when you push past fear. Identity forms when you sit with pain. Identity forms when you take responsibility. Identity forms when you say no, even when you want to fold. Identity forms when you act with discipline, even when motivation dies. Every time you choose the harder path, your identity sharpens. Every time you choose the easy path, your identity weakens. It is not about feeling strong. It is about building strength. That is the key. You have a choice. Stop living through other people's stories. Other people shaped your identity for years. Parents, teachers, friends, partners, strangers, the world. But here is the truth. They shaped you based on who they were, not who you were. Their fears created your fear. Their insecurity created your insecurity. Their limits created your limits. You are living inside a story that someone else wrote for you. You are acting out a script that you did not choose. You have a choice. Break the story or stay trapped in it. That is the key. To find yourself, you must walk alone sometimes. Silence reveals identity. Solitude reveals identity. Discomfort reveals identity. Most men run from silence because silence shows them the truth. Most men hide from solitude because solitude exposes the lies. Most men avoid discomfort because discomfort forces them to grow. But you cannot find yourself in noise. You cannot find yourself in crowds. You cannot find yourself in distraction. You find yourself when you sit alone and face the pain you avoided. You find yourself when you ask, "What do I want?" Not what do they want. You find yourself when you admit, "I have lived as a shadow, but I want to live as a man." You have a choice. Avoid the mirror or build a new reflection. That is the key. Identity grows when you take responsibility for your life. Responsibility changes everything. Responsibility shapes identity. Responsibility builds power. When you blame others, you weaken yourself. When you blame the past, you trap yourself. When you avoid responsibility, you erase your own identity. Responsibility is ownership. Ownership is control. Control is identity. You must say, "This is my life. This is my path. This is my responsibility. No one is coming to save me." You have a choice. Wait for rescue or rescue yourself. That is the key. Identity is created by what you repeat every day. If you repeat weakness, you become weak. If you repeat fear, you become fearful. If you repeat doubt, you become doubtful. If you repeat discipline, you become disciplined. Every small action shapes you. Every habit becomes a brick. Every choice becomes a line in your story. If you want a stronger identity, build stronger habits. If you want a disciplined identity, create disciplined routines. If you want a confident identity, choose confident actions. Even when you feel fear, identity is not feeling. Identity is training. You have a choice. Repeat your past, or build your future. That is the key. Stop asking for permission to be who you want to be. Most men wait. They wait for approval. They wait for acceptance. They wait for support. They wait for validation. But no one will give you permission to change your life. No one will give you permission to break your identity. No one will give you permission to become a new man. You do not need their permission. You do not need their praise. You do not need their comfort. Identity is personal. Identity is private. Identity is chosen. Identity is earned. You have a choice. Ask for permission or claim your life. That is the key. Stop protecting the labels that keep you weak. Some men defend their weakness. Some men protect their limits. Some men cling to their old pain just because it is familiar. This is who I am. But it is not who they are. It is who they settled for. Every label you accept becomes a cage. Every label you repeat becomes a chain. Every label you defend becomes your prison. You have a choice. Break the label, or let the label break you. That is the key. Build the identity you want to carry for the rest of your life. Identity must be chosen. Identity must be built. Identity must be lived. Ask yourself, what identity do I want? What kind of man do I want to be? What values do I want to stand on? What habits must I create? What habits must I destroy? Write it down. Repeat it daily. Train it daily. Live it daily. A new identity grows slowly, but powerfully. A new identity forms through action, not emotion. You have a choice. Return to the old you, or rise as the new you. That is the key. Identity is freedom. When you know who you are, you stop running. You stop hiding. You stop pleasing. You stop pretending. Identity gives clarity. Identity gives direction. Identity gives strength. Identity gives peace. It is not about perfection. It is about ownership. It is about responsibility. It is about discipline. You have a choice. Live lost or live aligned. That is the key. Final message of Chapter 5. Your identity is not behind you. Your identity is ahead of you. Your identity is created by action, not memory. Your identity is shaped by discipline, not emotion. You have a choice. Become the man you were trained to be, or become the man you choose to be. You mastered the search for identity. Now it is time to face the world that tries to control your direction. Chapter 6. The Forgotten Art of Emotion. Men avoid emotions. Men run from emotions. Men hide emotions. Men bury emotions. And every man pays the price. You have done it for years. You have carried pain. You have carried stress. You have carried fear. And you never said a word. You think silence makes you strong. You think numbness makes you tough. You think control means zero feeling. But here is the truth. Here is the hard truth. Here is the truth you avoid. A man who cannot feel is a man who cannot live. That is the key. Write that down. Repeat it. Remember it. A numb man is not a strong man. A numb man is a hurt man. A numb man is a confused man. A numb man is a lonely man. And you know it. You know it deep inside. Because you feel the emptiness. You feel the pressure. You feel the distance from others. You feel the quiet burn in your chest. This chapter forces you to face one truth. Your emotions are not the enemy. Your avoidance is the enemy. Let us break it down. Let us talk like men. Let us talk without masks. Let us talk without fear. Men are taught to hide everything. From childhood, life gives boys one rule. A brutal rule. A silent rule. Do not cry. Do not feel. Do not show weakness. Do not speak about pain. Do not ask for help. You learn that early. Maybe from parents. Maybe from school. Maybe from society. Maybe from culture. Maybe from your own inner voice. But the rule stayed. And the rule shaped you. And the rule broke parts of you. You have been trained to act like a wall. Not a human. Not a man. A wall. A wall that holds everything inside. A wall that never cracks. A wall that never speaks. And what happens to a wall that holds too much? It breaks. It explodes. It falls apart. It destroys anything around it. That is what happens to men today. Men explode in silence. Men collapse in silence. Men suffer in silence. Not because they are weak, but because they were trained to numb themselves. The world told you to hide, and you obeyed. But hiding has a cost. A heavy cost. A long cost. This chapter shows you that cost. And it shows you the way out. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. This is the rule. This is the law. This is the foundation. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. You cannot fix pain when you bury pain. You cannot calm fear when you deny fear. You cannot solve stress when you avoid stress. Avoidance is not strength. Avoidance is fear. Avoidance is weakness dressed as toughness. You have a choice. Feel and grow, or hide and break. And here is the truth men hate. Feeling does not make you weak. Feeling makes you real. Feeling makes you human. Feeling makes you powerful. Because emotion is data. Emotion is feedback. Emotion is a signal. Pain tells you something is wrong. Fear tells you something matters. Anger tells you a boundary broke. Sadness tells you something needs healing. Loneliness tells you connection is missing. Emotions are messengers, not enemies, not threats, not shame. Your job is not to fight emotions. Your job is to learn from emotions. That is the key. You have a choice. Stop running. Start listening. You are not weak for feeling. You have been lied to. For years. Maybe for decades. You were told that real men feel nothing. You were told real men stay calm always. You were told real men never show pain. You were told real men handle everything alone. These lies destroy men. These lies kill connection. These lies break families. These lies ruin mental health. Here's the truth. Real men feel. Real men face emotions. Real men express themselves. Real men connect. Weak men hide emotions. Weak men run from emotions. Weak men act like stone. Weak men pretend. Being emotional is not the problem. Being controlled by emotions is the problem. Being scared of emotions is the problem. Denying emotions is the problem. A disciplined man feels. A disciplined man processes. A disciplined man expresses. A disciplined man decides how to act. You do not need their permission to feel. You do not need approval to feel. You do not need validation to feel. You just need courage. Why men fear emotion? Men fear emotions for 3 reasons. Reason 1. Fear of appearing weak. You think people will judge you. You think people will lose respect. You think they will say you are soft. But here is reality. People respect honesty. People trust openness. People connect with truth. People follow men who are real. Reason 2. Fear of losing control. You think if you feel, you will collapse. But collapse comes from pressure, not emotion. Pressure from holding too much. Pressure from staying silent for too long. Feeling releases pressure. Ignoring builds pressure. Reason 3. Fear of vulnerability. You fear being hurt. You fear being exposed. You fear being misunderstood. But connection requires vulnerability. Understanding requires vulnerability. Growth requires vulnerability. You cannot build deep bonds without openness. You cannot build strong relationships without expression. That is the key. You have a choice. Hide alone, or grow with real connection. Men need connection. Men need support. Men need people. ***. You are not built for isolation. You are not built to suffer alone. You are not built to solve every problem without help. Men need other men. Men need friends. Men need mentors. Men need partners. Men need community. Not for weakness, but for strength, for grounding, for truth, for growth. Connection is not a luxury. Connection is survival. Connection is fuel. You think asking for support makes you weak, but the strongest men ask for support. The strongest men build networks. The strongest men build bonds. That is discipline, not weakness. Discipline. How to express emotion as a strong man. Let us talk action. Let us talk strategy. Let us talk discipline. Because emotion needs structure. Emotion needs clarity. Emotion needs rules. Here are the rules. Rule 1. Speak before you explode. Say what bothers you. Say what hurts you. Say what confuses you. Say what stresses you. Say it early. Say it clearly. Say it calmly. That is strength. That is maturity. That is power. Rule 2. Use clear language. Do not hide behind silence. Do not talk in circles. Do not fake calmness. Say what you feel. Say why you feel it. Say what you need. Say what you choose. Direct. Rule 3. Allow yourself to feel. Take time. Sit with emotion. Do not run. Do not numb. Do not distract. Face the wave. Let it move through you. Let it teach you. Rule 4. Do not dump emotion on others. Express, but do not explode. Communicate, but do not attack. Feel, but do not harm. Emotion is a tool, not a weapon. Rule 5. Build emotional discipline. Check in with yourself. Ask one simple question every day. What am I really feeling right now? This question saves lives. This question builds awareness. This question builds strength. Emotion creates deeper relationships. A strong man builds real connections. A strong man creates emotional safety. A strong man listens. A strong man shares. When you express yourself, people trust you. When you express yourself, people understand you. When you express yourself, people feel safe with you. When you express yourself, you build real intimacy. This is how you create real love, real friendship, real respect, real loyalty. Not by being silent, but by being present, being honest, being open. The strongest men are not the coldest. The strongest men are the most connected. The strongest men know how to feel deeply, without losing discipline. That is the key. Emotion plus discipline equals power. Your emotional life shapes your identity. When you avoid emotion, you lose identity. When you bury emotion, you lose direction. When you numb emotion, you lose purpose. Emotion is part of who you are. Emotion gives you insight. Emotion gives you intuition. Emotion gives you clarity. Men spend years confused, years lost, years stuck, because they never allow themselves to feel. Feeling creates understanding. Understanding creates identity. Identity creates direction. Direction creates action. That is the chain. That is the formula. You have a choice. Continue to numb yourself, or learn who you really are. The future belongs to emotionally intelligent men. Look around. Look at the world. Look at society. Look at relationships. Look at leadership. Emotionally intelligent men lead better. Emotionally intelligent men connect better. Emotionally intelligent men win bigger. Emotionally intelligent men grow faster. Men who hide emotions fall behind. Men who avoid feelings stay stuck. Men who pretend stay lost. This world needs strong men. But strength today is different. Strength today requires emotional mastery. Master your mind. Master your feelings. Master your relationships. Master your inner world. That is real strength. That is real masculinity. That is real power. Final message for this chapter. Your emotions are not the enemy. Your silence is the enemy. Your avoidance is the enemy. Your numbness is the enemy. You have a choice. Run from your feelings, or rise through your feelings. A strong man feels. A strong man speaks. A strong man connects. A strong man grows. This is your turning point. This is your wake-up call. This is your next step. Because now, you must explore the next battle. Chapter 7. Family, Love, and the Expectations of Manhood. Family shapes you. Love shapes you. Pressure shapes you. Expectation shapes you. And most men never talk about any of it. Men grow up carrying silent weight. Weight from family. Weight from society. Weight from partners. Weight from culture. Weight from themselves. And here is the truth. Most of that weight is invisible. Most of that weight is unspoken. Most of that weight is inherited. Most of that weight is not even yours. But you carry it anyway. Because you were told one thing. You were told this since childhood. A man must handle everything. A man must stay strong. A man must stay steady. A man must never complain. That message shapes boys. It shapes teens. It shapes men. It shapes fathers. It shapes husbands. It shapes every relationship a man enters. This chapter exposes the weight. This chapter explains the pressure. This chapter shows the path to healing. Because healing begins when truth begins. Healing begins when honesty begins. Healing begins when you decide to break the cycle. And you have a choice. The first place men learn pressure. Family. Your first idea of manhood came from home. You learned it from fathers. You learned it from mothers. You learned it from brothers. You learned it from silence. You learned it from fear. Some men grew up with strong fathers. Some men grew up with absent fathers. Some men grew up with angry fathers. Some men grew up with tired fathers. Some men grew up with fathers who never spoke. And you said nothing. Because boys stay quiet. Boys watch. Boys absorb. Boys learn the rule. A man must never be weak. You learned that before you learned courage. You learned that before you learned self-worth. You learned that before you learned emotion. Your childhood shaped your view of love. Your childhood shaped your view of yourself. Your childhood shaped your idea of manhood. And most of this shaping happened without a single word. That is the key. You formed beliefs through silence. Not conversation. Not teaching. Silence. And silence teaches the wrong lessons. Men grow under pressure they never chose. Life gives every man pressure. But family pressure hits hardest. Because it begins early. Because it touches the heart. Because it shapes identity. You were told to be the strong one. You were told to be the responsible one. You were told to protect everyone. You were told to keep everything together. And maybe you tried. But the truth is brutal. You were a child asked to carry adult weight. You were a boy asked to solve grown problems. You were a teenager asked to act like a father. That leaves marks. Invisible marks. And this is why so many men feel exhausted. Not because life is hard, but because expectation came too early. Responsibility came too early. Pressure came too early. You were trained to perform, not to feel, not to express, not to understand. And this performance follows you into adulthood, into love, into marriage, into fatherhood, into every relationship. Love and manhood are tied together, but men are never taught how to love ***. This is the tragedy. Men are expected to love, but men are not taught how to love. Men are expected to lead, but men are not taught how to communicate. Men are expected to protect, but men are not taught how to protect themselves. You enter relationships with pressure. Pressure to be perfect. Pressure to never fail. Pressure to never lose control. Pressure to be the man. Love becomes a performance, not a connection, not a partnership, not a journey. You think your role is to fix everything. You think your role is to stay calm always. You think your role is to carry pain alone. You think your role is to sacrifice everything. But here is the truth. No woman expects a man without emotion. No partner expects a man without struggle. No relationship needs a fake hero. A relationship needs a real man. A human man. A present man. That is the key. You do not need to pretend. You do not need to mask. You do not need to hide. Pretending kills connection. Hiding kills intimacy. Masking kills love. You have a choice. Bring your real self, or lose yourself trying to be perfect. Pressure distorts love. Pressure changes how men behave. Pressure makes men quiet. Pressure makes men distant. Pressure makes men numb. Pressure makes men cold. Not because they do not care, but because they care too much. Because they fear failing. Because they fear losing control. Because they fear not being enough. So men shut down. They turn inward. They withdraw. They isolate. And then people say, "He does not talk. He does not share. He does not show love." But the truth is different. The truth is painful. The truth is simple. He was never taught how. This chapter is your lesson. This chapter gives you the guide you never had. The hidden rules men believe about love. Men carry 3 false rules about love. Rule 1. A man must never fail. You think mistakes make you worthless. You think errors make you weak. You think struggle makes you unworthy. But love requires failure. Love requires imperfection. Love requires learning. Rule 2. A man must always provide. Providing is good. Providing is noble. Providing is masculine. But providing is not enough. A house is not a home without presence. Money is not love. Work is not connection. Your family needs more than your labor. Your family needs you. Your voice. Your emotion. Your presence. Rule 3. A man must be strong always. This destroys men. This breaks relationships. This kills emotional safety. Because real strength includes softness. Real strength includes truth. Real strength includes expression. You do not need their permission to feel. You do not need approval to speak. You do not need validation to open up. You need discipline. Not perfection. Not silence. Discipline. Healing begins with one decision. You cannot change your childhood. You cannot change your past. You cannot change old expectations. But you can change your future. You can change your rules. You can change your story. Healing begins with a choice. A simple choice. A single choice. You choose honesty. You choose openness. You choose connection. That is the key. You have a choice. Hide behind the mask, or remove it with courage. Men fear emotional truth, but healing lives inside truth. Strength grows inside truth. Love deepens inside truth. Your pain needs a voice. Your stress needs a release. Your heart needs space. Give it space. Give it expression. Give it honesty. Because suppressed emotion becomes distance. Suppressed emotion becomes anger. Suppressed emotion becomes confusion. Suppressed emotion becomes destruction. You have a choice. Speak early. Speak clearly. Speak with courage. How to build healthy love as a man. Now let us talk action. Let us talk steps. Let us talk discipline. Step 1. Communicate first, not last. Do not wait until you break. Do not wait until anger erupts. Do not wait until distance grows. Speak early. Speak honestly. Speak calmly. Step 2. Say what you feel without shame. Say you are stressed. Say you are tired. Say you are afraid. Say you need support. That is courage, not weakness. Courage. Step 3. Build partnership, not performance. Stop trying to be a perfect man. Be a present man. Be a real man. Be a connected man. Partnership needs honesty. Partnership needs transparency. Partnership needs teamwork. Step 4. Create emotional safety. Listen without judgment. Speak without aggression. Share without fear. Emotional safety builds trust. Trust builds love. Love builds connection. Step 5. Lead with discipline, not ego. It is not about dominance. It is about direction. It is about maturity. It is about stability. Lead with calm. Lead with truth. Lead with presence. That is manhood. Not ego. Not control. Not pressure. Presence. The true role of a man in family and love. Your role is not to carry everything. Your role is not to be emotionless. Your role is not to fix every problem. Your real role is simple. Be a stabilizer. Be a protector. Be a provider of safety. Be emotionally balanced. Be mentally strong. Be open enough to connect. Be humble enough to learn. Be brave enough to admit truth. A strong man does not avoid feelings. A strong man masters them. A strong man does not avoid connection. A strong man builds it. You shape your family with your presence. You shape your partner with your energy. You shape your children with your behavior. But first, you must shape yourself. That is the key. You have a choice. Repeat old patterns, or build new ones. Final message for this chapter. Family shaped you. Love shaped you. Pressure shaped you. But now you shape yourself. You do not need to repeat the old rules. You do not need to carry old expectations. You do not need to suffer in silence. You do not need to be perfect. You need presence. You need honesty. You need discipline. That is manhood. That is maturity. That is growth. You mastered connection. Now it is time to master your value. Chapter 8. The quiet cracks in every man's life. Every man carries cracks. Every man hides fractures. Every man wears a mask. And the world rarely notices. You look calm. You act steady. You speak confidence. But inside, chaos simmers. That is the truth. And most men do not admit it. Not to friends. Not to family. Not even to themselves. Men are expected to be pillars. Unshakable. Indestructible. And yet every pillar has cracks. Every foundation has weak points. And ignoring these cracks is dangerous. Ignoring them leads to burnout. Ignoring them leads to depression. Ignoring them leads to silent suffering. You have a choice. You can admit your cracks. You can face your fractures. Or you can ignore them and collapse later. The first crack, exhaustion you cannot explain. Men push themselves. Too hard. Too long. Too often. You work nonstop. You sacrifice sleep. You ignore your body. You ignore your mind. You ignore your heart. And after years, something gives. A breakdown. A panic attack. A sudden rage. A long period of numbness. This is the crack. The quiet crack that no one sees. The crack under the surface of your strong exterior. And here is the brutal truth. You are not weak. You are human. That is the key. You have a choice. You can push until collapse. Or you can address the cracks now. The second crack, emotional bottling. Men are taught silence. Men are taught stoicism. Men are taught to hide feelings. And hiding feelings builds pressure. Pressure builds tension. Tension builds resentment. Resentment builds anger. Anger builds distance. Distance builds isolation. You smile. You laugh. You appear unshakable. But inside, the storm rages. This is the quiet crack in every man's life. The pressure of emotions that never find release. And most men do not know how to open the floodgates. It is not weakness to cry. It is not weakness to admit fear. It is not weakness to say, I need help. It is discipline to manage your mind. It is courage to face your heart. It is strength to break the silence. The third crack, the weight of unspoken expectations. Men carry invisible loads. Expectations from work. Expectations from family. Expectations from society. Expectations from themselves. You were told, a man must succeed. A man must provide. A man must be strong. A man must not complain. And so you carry, without asking, without speaking, without pause. Every expectation becomes a weight. Every unspoken demand becomes a crack. Every unnoticed burden becomes a fracture in your peace. You have a choice. You do not need their permission to set boundaries. You do not need approval to say, this is too much. You do not need validation to put yourself first. Discipline is not about carrying everything. Discipline is about choosing what you carry. Discipline is about recognizing the cracks before they collapse your life. The fourth crack, relationships that mask stress. Many men hide cracks behind relationships. A smile, a joke, a partner, a friend. But inside, anxiety grows. Stress accumulates. Doubt eats at confidence. You appear composed. You appear strong. You appear in control. But the truth is different. The quiet cracks do not vanish because you act happy. They expand. They fester. They silently break trust and connection. And here is the key. You do not need to pretend. You do not need to be flawless. You do not need to hide. Real connection requires vulnerability. Real connection requires honesty. Real connection requires facing the cracks openly. Why every man experiences collapse? Collapse is not weakness. Collapse is signal. Collapse is warning. Your body speaks first. Your mind speaks second. Your relationships speak last. Ignoring the cracks will always lead to crisis. Stress manifests physically. Burnout manifests mentally. Isolation manifests relationally. You have to notice the cracks. You have to pay attention to warning signs. You have to act before chaos erupts. And here is the discipline. Not every crack is failure. Not every crack is shame. Cracks are guidance. Cracks are signals that growth is required. Cracks are the blueprint for transformation. How to face your cracks. Facing cracks requires courage. Courage is not loud. Courage is quiet. Courage is deliberate. Step 1. Identify the cracks. Ask yourself, where do I feel stress? Where do I feel pain? Where do I feel exhausted? Where do I feel alone? Answer honestly. Do not lie. Do not minimize. Do not pretend. Step 2. Name your emotions. Fear, anger, sadness, frustration, loneliness. Speak them aloud. Write them down. Let them exist. It is not weakness to acknowledge emotion. It is power. It is clarity. It is discipline. Step 3. Seek support. Talk to someone. A friend. A mentor. A therapist. Isolation strengthens cracks. Connection fills them. Guidance repairs them. Step 4. Take practical action. Exercise. Journal. Meditate. Set boundaries. Prioritize tasks. Small daily acts fix cracks before they become chasms. Discipline is the tool. Consistency is the weapon. Step 5. Accept imperfection. You will not heal overnight. You will not close every crack immediately. You will stumble. You will fail. And that is normal. Strength is built by facing cracks, not ignoring them. Real growth comes from struggle. Real resilience comes from persistence. The secret truth about calm surfaces. Men appear calm. Men appear collected. Men appear unstoppable. But calm is deceptive. Calm does not mean there is no pain. Calm does not mean there is no struggle. Calm does not mean there is no pressure. Everyone has cracks. Everyone has moments of doubt. Everyone has times of collapse. The difference between men who succeed and men who break is not luck. It is awareness. It is discipline. It is courage to face the cracks early. You have a choice. Face the cracks, or let them grow. That is the key. That is the lesson. Daily discipline to protect your cracks. Every morning ask, what cracks do I need to check today? Where am I hiding stress? Where am I silent? Where am I masking pain? Every night ask, did I honor my limits? Did I express my truth? Did I show presence in relationships? Did I repair my cracks? Repeat every day. Discipline is daily. Strength is daily. Healing is daily. The final message for Chapter 8. Men are not unbreakable. Men are not invincible. Men are not immune. Cracks are real. Burnout is real. Collapse is real. But awareness is power. Discipline is power. Courage is power. Your cracks do not define you. Your cracks guide you. Your cracks reveal where you must grow. You mastered hidden pain. You mastered pressure. You mastered silence. Now it is time to master the next frontier. Chapter 9. The fight against yourself. The hardest fight a man will ever face is the fight within himself. Not the fight with the world. Not the fight with others. It is the fight against the version of himself he does not want to see. It is brutal. It is relentless. It is exhausting. And most men avoid it. Most men push it aside. Most men blame everything and everyone, except themselves. That is weakness. And that is why most men never win. You have a choice. Face the fight now or regret it later. The enemy inside. Your mind is your battlefield. Your habits are your weapons. Your fears are the opposing army. Self-doubt, procrastination, excuses, laziness, fear of failure. These are the enemy. They are silent. They are patient. They wait until you lower your guard. You must recognize them. You must name them. You must confront them. It is not about being fearless. It is about acting despite fear. It is not about strength alone. It is about discipline, self-respect, and personal responsibility. The first battle, courage over comfort. Courage is not being unafraid. Courage is doing what must be done, even when you are afraid. Comfort is the enemy. Easy choices are traps. Avoidance is poison. Every time you choose comfort, every time you avoid the challenge, you reinforce weakness. You reinforce doubt. You reinforce mediocrity. You have a choice. Choose discomfort. Choose the hard path. Choose action over inaction. That is the first step in fighting yourself. Face the challenge. Face the discomfort. Face your fear. The second battle, discipline over chaos. Your habits define your life. Your actions create your reality. Every man who struggles with himself struggles because he lacks discipline. Discipline in small things. Discipline in daily choices. Discipline in thought, word, and deed. Wake up early. Control your mind. Control your body. Control your actions. It is not punishment. It is preparation. Discipline is armor. Discipline is power. Discipline is the tool that turns struggle into success. You have a choice. Choose discipline. Choose responsibility. Choose to master your inner chaos. The third battle, honesty over excuses. Excuses are comfortable. They protect you from accountability. They protect you from truth. But excuses destroy men silently. They destroy credibility. They destroy confidence. They destroy potential. Face your flaws. Admit your mistakes. Stop blaming the world. Stop blaming others. This is courage. This is strength. This is the fight every man must engage in daily. You have a choice. Own your life. Own your mistakes. Own your growth. The fourth battle, self-respect over approval. Most men live for approval. They seek validation from others. They chase likes, compliments, and recognition. But self-respect is earned internally. It is built through action. It is built through courage. It is built through discipline. It is built through personal responsibility. You do not need permission. You do not need approval. You do not need validation. Respect yourself first. Act with integrity. Hold to your principles. That is the key to winning the fight within. The fifth battle, action over procrastination. The mind will always find reasons to delay. The world will always feel safer if you wait. Tomorrow. Next week. After the right moment. After the perfect plan. All of this is a lie. All of this is weakness. All of this feeds the enemy inside. Action kills doubt. Action kills fear. Action kills excuses. You have a choice. Now. Take ownership now. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for motivation. Create momentum through action. That is the fight. That is the battle every man must fight daily. The sixth battle, controlling your thoughts. The mind is your battlefield. Your thoughts are your ammunition. Negative thoughts are enemy fire. You are not enough. You will fail. You cannot do this. These are the lies your enemy whispers. And if you believe them, you surrender. Discipline your mind. Challenge every lie. Replace doubt with action. Replace fear with focus. Speak truth over yourself. Train your thoughts like a soldier trains for war. You have a choice. Control your mind. Or let it control you. It is the defining battle for every man. The seventh battle, Responsibility over blame. The world will always give you reasons to complain. Life will always throw obstacles. People will fail you. Systems will fail you. But your power lies in responsibility. Owning your actions. Owning your failures. Owning your growth. Blame is easy. Responsibility is hard. But responsibility builds men. Responsibility builds strength. Responsibility builds freedom. You have a choice. Blame or own. Weakness or strength. Excuses or discipline. Choose responsibility. That is how you win yourself. The transformation that follows. When you fight yourself, when you overcome fear, doubt, procrastination, and excuses, something powerful happens. You gain self-respect. You gain confidence. You gain clarity. You gain control. Your relationships improve. Your decisions become sharper. Your life begins to reflect your true potential. All because you faced the enemy within. All because you chose discipline over comfort. All because you chose courage over fear. You have a choice. You can continue hiding, or you can fight, and become the man you were meant to be. Daily practices for winning the fight. Morning check. Identify fears, doubts, and weak spots. Write them down. Small victories. Take one deliberate action against comfort daily. Mind training. Replace one negative thought with a truth every hour. Accountability. Tell someone your goal. Report progress. Evening reflection. Ask, did I act with courage? Did I own my choices? Discipline compounds. Courage compounds. Responsibility compounds. Do this daily. Fight yourself daily. Win daily. The final lesson. The fight against yourself never ends. It is lifelong. It is constant. It is brutal. But it is the fight that separates boys from men. It is the fight that creates confidence. It is the fight that produces freedom. It is the fight that builds a life worth living. You have a choice. Face yourself. Fight your fears. Take responsibility. Honor your commitments. That is courage. That is self-respect. That is strength. That is discipline. You mastered internal chaos. You mastered comfort. You mastered excuses. Now prepare for the next frontier. Chapter 11. Becoming a man without losing your humanity. Balancing strength with softness, ambition with rest, and power with compassion. A man without humanity is a tyrant. A man without humanity is lonely. A man without humanity is empty. Strength alone is not enough. Power alone is not enough. Ambition alone is not enough. You have a choice. You can pursue greatness and remain cold. Or you can pursue greatness and stay human. That is the key. The illusion of strength. Most men think strength means hardness. They think toughness is about never showing weakness. They think being respected comes from being feared. This is a lie. True strength is measured by how you treat others. True strength is measured by how you handle your own pain. True strength is measured by your ability to stay grounded under pressure. You do not need to crush people to rise. You do not need to dominate to succeed. You do not need to numb yourself to feel powerful. You have a choice. Act with humanity, or let your strength isolate you. That is the key. Balancing power and compassion. Power without compassion is dangerous. It destroys relationships. It destroys trust. It destroys your own soul. Compassion without power is ignored. It is overlooked. It is dismissed. The balance is mastery. The balance is discipline. The balance is intentional living. You must be strong enough to take action, and soft enough to listen. You must be firm enough to set boundaries, and gentle enough to understand others. This is not weakness. This is maturity. This is the mark of a real man. You have a choice. Choose balance, or let extremes define you. Ambition with rest. Most men overwork themselves. They chase success endlessly. They sacrifice health, relationships, and peace. This is not strength. This is addiction. This is self-destruction. Ambition without rest burns you out. It makes you irritable. It clouds your judgment. It disconnects you from yourself. Rest is not laziness. Rest is strategic. Rest is preparation. Rest is fuel. You must push hard when needed. You must rest when needed. You must know the rhythm of your life. You have a choice. Exhaust yourself for vanity, or harness ambition with wisdom. That is the key. Maintaining humanity under pressure. Life will test you. It will push you to the edge. It will demand you become hard, ruthless, and unfeeling. Do not comply. Hold on to your humanity. Speak truth with respect. Lead with empathy. Act with integrity. You will be tempted to abandon kindness for results. Do not. Kindness is strength disguised. Empathy is power multiplied. Compassion is influence without manipulation. You have a choice. Harden yourself and lose connection, or stay human and gain respect. That is the key. Softness is not weakness. Softness is a skill. It is emotional intelligence. It is the ability to listen without judgment. It is the capacity to forgive. Softness allows you to connect. Softness allows you to inspire. Softness allows you to influence without force. Men confuse softness with failure. They fear being seen as weak. They hide feelings. They shut down empathy. This is dangerous. This is lonely. This is unnecessary. You have a choice. Embrace softness, or continue the lie of toughness. That is the key. Strength anchored in humanity. Strength anchored in humanity does not intimidate. It attracts. It inspires. It elevates others. A man who lifts others while lifting himself is powerful. A man who cares while conquering is unstoppable. A man who loves while leading is legendary. You do not lose your edge by being human. You sharpen it. You refine it. You multiply it. This is the paradox. Power without humanity is weak. Humanity without power is ignored. Both together create mastery. You have a choice. Seek dominance without heart, or pursue mastery with humanity. That is the key. Practical steps to balance. Daily check-in. Ask yourself, am I acting from fear or love? Emotional awareness. Name your feelings. Do not suppress them. Empathy practice. Listen without judgment for 5 minutes daily. Rest and recharge. Schedule breaks like they are appointments. Acts of kindness. Small gestures reinforce your humanity while building strength. Reflection. Each night, journal what you did to stay balanced. Discipline is required. Consistency is required. Courage is required. You have a choice. Ignore balance, or master it with intention. That is the key. Avoiding extremes. Some men swing too far into toughness. They lose love. They lose connection. They lose peace. Some men swing too far into softness. They lose respect. They lose authority. They lose influence. Extreme living is chaos. Balance is mastery. Balance is discipline. Balance is freedom. You have a choice. Swing recklessly, or calibrate carefully. That is the key. Ambition that respects humanity. Ambition without regard for others is selfish. Ambition with awareness of impact is legacy. You can climb the ladder and crush people below, or you can climb and lift others as you rise. Power is not proof of worth. Kindness is not proof of weakness. Ambition without heart is hollow. Ambition with humanity is meaningful. You have a choice. Sacrifice others for gain, or build while you rise. That is the key. The daily fight. Every day is a battle between toughness and compassion, a battle between action and patience, a battle between ego and humility. Do not underestimate the fight. It is subtle. It is constant. It is unavoidable. Winning means staying human. Winning means acting with courage. Winning means leading without losing soul. Discipline is required. Courage is required. Awareness is required. You have a choice. Fall into cynicism, or rise with integrity. That is the key. The legacy of a balanced man. A balanced man leaves a mark, not by fear, not by force, but by example. He inspires loyalty. He inspires trust. He inspires growth. Children watch him. Partners respect him. Friends rely on him. Society notices him. Balance is not passive. It is active. It is intentional. It is relentless. You have a choice. Live unbalanced and be forgotten, or live with balance and be remembered. That is the key. Chapter 12. Redefining manhood for yourself. Manhood is not given. Manhood is claimed. Manhood is earned every day. It is not about age. It is not about muscle. It is not about money. It is about choices. It is about discipline. It is about integrity. You have a choice. Follow the crowd, or define your own path. That is the key. The lie of society. Society tells men who to be. It hands down expectations, unspoken rules, and invisible chains. Be tough. Be stoic. Be dominant. Do not cry. Do not ask for help. Do not show weakness. This is a lie. This is control. This is manipulation. Real manhood is not compliance. It is self-definition. It is self-mastery. It is self-respect. You have a choice. Follow their map, or create your own. That is the key. Choosing your values. Values are not inherited. Values are chosen. They define your actions. They define your decisions. They define your life. Courage, discipline, humility, integrity, compassion, responsibility. These are not optional. They are foundational. A man without values is adrift. A man without values is reactive. A man without values is lost. You have a choice. Ignore values and follow the tide, or define them and anchor your life. That is the key. Purpose over pleasure. Pleasure is fleeting. Approval is fleeting. Recognition is fleeting. Purpose lasts. Purpose guides. Purpose strengthens. Too many men chase comfort. Too many men chase validation. Too many men chase empty victories. Purpose requires sacrifice. Purpose requires patience. Purpose requires courage. You have a choice. Follow temporary highs, or commit to lasting impact. That is the key. The courage to look inside. Redefining manhood starts with reflection. It starts with honesty. It starts with looking at yourself without excuses. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What have you ignored? What have you avoided? The mirror is merciless. It shows your truth. It does not lie. You must be brave enough to see it. You must be disciplined enough to act on it. You must be courageous enough to change it. You have a choice. Hide from reality, or face it and grow. That is the key. Responsibility is power. Manhood is responsibility. Not the fancy word. Not the image of dominance. Not the illusion of control. Responsibility is owning your actions. Responsibility is managing your emotions. Responsibility is being accountable to yourself and others. Men avoid responsibility. They blame, excuse, and rationalize. This is weakness. This is cowardice. This is failure. Real power comes from responsibility. Real respect comes from ownership. Real freedom comes from discipline. You have a choice. Run from responsibility, or embrace it and rise. That is the key. Discipline shapes identity. Discipline is the backbone of manhood. It is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Discipline is daily training. Discipline is saying no when tempted. Discipline is pushing through pain and resistance. Men think discipline is restriction. It is not. Discipline is liberation. Discipline is mastery. You have a choice. Live by impulse, or live by design. That is the key. Emotional mastery. Emotions are not weaknesses. They are tools. They are signals. They are power. A man who cannot manage emotions is reactive. He is volatile. He is unreliable. A man who masters emotions is intentional. He is calm under pressure. He is decisive. He is respected. You have a choice. Let emotions control you, or control emotions and lead. That is the key. Relationships define you. Manhood is tested in relationships. Family, friends, partners, and colleagues. How you treat people reveals your true strength. How you listen. How you forgive. How you give. How you lead without dominating. Men confuse control with respect. They confuse fear with loyalty. Respect is earned through honesty, through consistency, through compassion. You have a choice. Dominate and isolate, or connect and inspire. That is the key. Legacy mindset. Every man leaves a legacy. Some leave destruction. Some leave emptiness. Some leave chaos. Real manhood leaves impact. Real manhood leaves inspiration. Real manhood leaves value for future generations. Ask yourself, what will your children see? What will your friends remember? What will the world feel when you are gone? You have a choice. Live small and fade away, or live with intention and be remembered. That is the key. Overcoming fear. Fear is constant. Fear is real. Fear whispers, you cannot. Fear whispers, you are weak. Fear whispers, stay small. Ignore it and it grows. Face it and it shrinks. Courage is not absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. Courage is defining your manhood in the presence of doubt. You have a choice. Let fear control you, or act anyway and define yourself. That is the key. The discipline of consistency. Redefining manhood is not one moment. It is 1,000 daily decisions. Consistency beats motivation. Consistency builds habits. Consistency shapes character. Do not wait for inspiration. Do not wait for approval. Do not wait for external validation. Act daily. Correct mistakes daily. Improve daily. That is how you become a man you respect. You have a choice. Be sporadic and reactive, or be disciplined and deliberate. That is the key. Manhood is self-respect. All else follows self-respect. Do not compromise your standards. Do not betray your values. Do not ignore your purpose. Self-respect is courage. Self-respect is honesty. Self-respect is refusing to live for others' approval. A man without self-respect is lost. A man with self-respect is unstoppable. You have a choice. Live for others' validation, or live for your own integrity. That is the key. Actionable steps to redefine manhood. Define your values. Write down your top 5 values. Live by them daily. Assess your purpose. Identify what matters most in your life. Act on it. Practice discipline. Create daily routines that strengthen body, mind, and character. Master emotions. Track triggers. Respond intentionally. Avoid reactive behavior. Strengthen relationships. Give, forgive, and listen. Lead with compassion. Face fear daily. Identify one fear each day and take action. Build legacy. Think about how your actions affect future generations. Discipline is mandatory. Courage is mandatory. Consistency is mandatory. Integrity is mandatory. You have a choice. Ignore growth, or master yourself and your manhood. That is the key. Redefining manhood is freedom. True manhood frees you from expectations. True manhood frees you from shame. True manhood frees you from the opinions of others. Freedom is not chaos. Freedom is clarity. Freedom is purpose. Freedom is power anchored in humanity. You have a choice. Live as a puppet of society, or live as a sovereign man of principle. That is the key. Final words on manhood. Manhood is a journey, not a destination, not a title, not a role you play. It is earned every day. It is defended every day. It is improved every day. Live deliberately. Act intentionally. Lead wisely. Love fully. You have a choice. Become a man you admire, or continue to follow illusions. That is the key.